Hey guys, it's Dax and Leanne back from Eat, Play, Love, Live, and here with another question for you. So this question is, why am I caught up in the yo-yo cycle? In other words, I think this is common to a lot of people. They take 2 steps forward, 1 back, 2 steps back, 1 forward, all this back and forth thing. Why is this happening, Leanne? What do you say about this?
Right. I call it the bounce back effect, and it usually just comes to the point where when we're doing something and we can't take it any longer and we revert back to whatever our default is, right? And usually our default, it doesn't serve us, or else we wouldn't have been committing to these kind of outlandish, impractical plans and programs anyways. And, so I think one of the distinctions that we talk about a lot is the difference between the weight loss mentality and the self-care mentality, right? And there's nothing wrong with the weight loss mentality. I'm not saying that it's bad or not. It's got its place, right? But most people don't want this short-term weight loss. They want this long-term way of living. And so the distinction bears being taught. Usually the weight loss mentality is going to be these impractical, unsustainable things where the general conversation is eat less, move more, no pain, no gain, work out faster, harder, more, right? When the long-term care mentality, right? It can have those pieces of the puzzle in there sometimes strategically, but in general, it's this long-term conversation. And in a long-term conversation, those modalities, not only are they not sustainable, they're not safe. They're not, they don't contribute to our health and well-being. They actually go against what our brain and nervous system want in the long term, right? And sometimes in the short term. So it really, so the wording that we talk about in Eat, Play, Love, Live is the distinction between, is it am I caring or repairing, right? And so I think we can all understand the whole repair mentality of like, man, my body's something that I need to change, or I need to get into that dress, or something's wrong with it, or it's something to be fixed, it's broken, whatever it is, it's undesirable, unattractive, whatever language we're using, right? Versus the care mentality of my body and I are a team for the rest of my life, right? I'm either with it or against it, right? And I think that's really what's going on is a lot of women are kind of thinking that they're in this war, this battle, or their body is the enemy. And so they're always trying to figure out ways to repair it or fix it or work on it rather than work with it. And so I think if we can create, if we can shift our entire mentality from weight loss to self-care, but also from repair to care, I think then it becomes, I know it becomes a completely different conversation. Because if you asked a woman, like, what do you need to do to lose weight right now in the next 2 weeks versus what do you need to do to take care of your body forever, it becomes a completely different conversation. So that's where I'd start. What would you say about it?
I think you answered it perfectly. I think that huge distinction between knowing that you're in this for life and knowing that you're in this for a project, right? And you described this, right? It's absolutely fine to have a project. Like, okay, do you know what? For the next 30, 60, 90 days, I've got this project and it's called Project Physical Self or Project Scales, and I want to hit a certain number and I want to do these things. But along the way to accomplishing your project, you need to keep coming back to, that is what I'm doing compromising my self-care? Like, because you can still accomplish your projects without destroying yourself along the journey. Like, how can we said this in one of our earlier trainings, but how can I enjoy this? But is this good for me? Like, is the approach I'm taking, is it good for me? Or am I doing stuff that's bad for me in the hope of becoming good? Like, right. I want a good body. I want a good body, but I want to do things that are really bad for me in order to get the good body. I'm going to smash, bash, trash, thrash myself in the gym to get there. I'm going to starve myself to get this good body. But it all flies in the face of self-care. Like, so the question becomes, even if I'm going to create a project, 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it's going to be, and I'm going to have this big push, am I still doing it with care? Or is it going to be something that I'm going to require an extensive period of repair around after? Because here's the reality, the way most people handle their physical transformation projects is that they break themselves down so much. And you hear it in the language, like, somebody gets to the end of 90 days and it's like, thank God that's over. Like, and wow, like, or they're counting down the days until they can eat cheesecake again, or they're counting down the days until, whatever it happens to be, you hear them breaking their relationship with themselves. They can't they can't sustain it, which means that they generally tend to be kind of doing things to themselves that are actually causing damage. So the big question is, if I'm going to run a project, can I run the project and at the same time run the project through care? And I don't think most people are doing that at the moment.
Absolutely. And I mean, on a brain level too, you know, in order for our brain to kind of support us for these thrive-based activities, and most people don't understand that weight loss is like actually changing your body composition is a thrive-based activity. In order for your brain to get on board with it, your brain and nervous system need to feel safe. It's so again this second distinction comes in between, you know, survive and thrive. And so the other side of it is like you kind of need to go into the care mode in order for your brain to even be on board with your weight loss. A lot of people are struggling to lose weight even though they're doing the things that might yield them the results, because they're doing it on top of a really stressed out and nervous system. And so I think that, you know, bears emphasis as well.
Yeah. Well, we've all heard that you can't out-train a poor diet. And for most people, that's where the conversation stops. You can't out-train a poor diet. But you can't out-diet a poor endocrine system, your hormonal balance. And you can't out-endocrine system a poor nervous system. So it all begins at a brain level anyway. And most people don't understand this. And which is why they're just trying to do it all in the gym and the kitchen. Right? Smash myself in the gym, control my calories in the kitchen. But it's very, very possible to be doing all the right things and still be struggling to lose the weight. As a huge number of women that both you and I have worked with will attest to, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Great.
Alrighty.
Cool. I think that about covers it for this video. Thanks for tuning in, ladies, and we will see you very soon.
Yes.
Bye.